Welcome, wrestling fans. Welcome to Curtain Jerkin. As always, I'm your host, Jacob Grondy, reporting for the Main Event Marks YouTube channel. Check me out on Spotify and Apple Music as well. What a time to be a fucking pro wrestling fan. WrestleMania weekend was amazing. Check out all my mini-sodes if you want to hear about how New Japan did over WrestleMania weekend, how AEW did over WrestleMania weekend, Impact Wrestling did over WrestleMania weekend, Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor review, and more. But right now we're going to be jumping in to this big news that happened this morning. It's crazy how we're leaving the WrestleMania weekend behind, going into the Raw after WrestleMania, and that isn't the biggest story in wrestling right now. And that is that Endeavor, the company that owns UFC, now owns WWE. I think it's going to take a while for everything to finalize and everything like that, but I think this is big. I'm glad that it's not a Saudi Arabian company that didn't get this. Of course, they're still in bed with Saudi Arabia. They're still over there, but I think that would have been such a turnoff for a lot of people that it would have been weird to discuss pro wrestling. And I always want to discuss pro wrestling. That's why I have a pro wrestling podcast, of course. I think it's good considering. One, it's a pretty big company. There's a lot of shoes to fill. And if you look at what Endeavor did with UFC, of course, UFC was, on Spike TV, but now they're on ESPN. So WWE, if they want to grow, it makes sense to move in with Endeavor. I think that Nick Khan, the guy who, is bringing these big spectacle events to Wales and Nashville and Puerto Rico and, of course, Saudi Arabia as well, is going to fit in with the mindset that UFC has had over the last few years, which, go to Abu Dhabi, go to London, go to Brazil. So I think they're going to jive well. I think they're going to mesh well. I think this is going to be cool because I think the coolest thing about WWE is these big spectacle events, and nothing is bigger, more spectacular than the granddaddy of them all, the showcase of the Immortals, WrestleMania, and it happened over the fucking weekend. Amazing set. I would say it's like top 3 sets of all time. It was big but not gaudy. It felt regal. It felt grand. It was super well done. The ramp is ridiculous. I love the ramp because I don't have one of those seats that's right next to the ramp. I don't know what those people paid for those seats, but keep in mind when you're buying WrestleMania tickets, like the first 5 rows, the first 10 rows might be good, but if you're on the floor and you're way, 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 way back, there might be obstructive views, to put it politely. A big Hollywood video package to kick things off. Kevin Hart, no relation to Brett, in the opening video package. Big star there. Miz and Snoop Dogg kicking things off. You gotta love it. They were great throughout the weekend. I mean, they even saved their show at night 2 at one point. We'll get to it too, because we ranked every single match from worst to first. And I mean every single match. Even the impromptu matches are ranked. It's Michael Cole's 22nd WrestleMania. That's the most of all time, which is crazy. I guess Jim Ross has done 21 of the WrestleManias. Good to see Titus O'Neil out there, not slipping under the ring, not in the ring, but on commentary. He seems to only pop up when there's something good to be done or WrestleMania. That ain't a bad gig that Titus O'Neil has. Also, Little Uzi Vert bringing out the Usos. I thought that was good. I mean, Little Uzi Vert is, a festival headliner. Here he is playing in front of 80,000 people. That's no stranger to him, but it just works with the Usos, with what they got going on. It is a current star, much like Bad Bunny. They need these current stars to help bring them into the current mainstream. Night 2, not necessarily a big, headliner, but West Side Gun, known wrestling advocate and pretty good MC right there. I think he bought a ticket. He was front row. So that was kind of cool to see. Just like a big boxing pay-per-view or Knicks game or Lakers game, the celebrities are around the ring, and it's big when you know that they didn't they weren't given a ticket. They were kind of bought a ticket just like a regular fan. They're fans too. Bobby Lashley bringing out the Andre the Giant Battle Royal trophy that he won on SmackDown. You got to feel bad for Bobby Lashley. There was talks of him and Brock having a rematch, and then it went to Bray, and you're like, okay, cool, Bobby versus Bray. And then Bray walked out, seemingly. That's what the rumors are. And no more match. Here he is in the Andre Battle Royal. He wins it, but he doesn't get a big WrestleMania moment because of seemingly backstage politics. What can you do there? Hopefully he does something big. I mean, last year he put over Almost. This year, what was going to happen, we will never know. But let's get to it. Let's rank every single match from worst to first. I'll just go ahead and say night one, I thought it was better than night two. I might be just a little worn out. But yeah, night one better than night two. The two big main events delivered, and it never really dragged. It was perfect pacing, I would say, for night one. Number 15, Miz versus Shane versus Snoop is the worst match at WrestleMania this year. There was a ref out there. The bell rang. I'm calling it a match. Shane comes out, dancing around, doesn't get as big of a pop as you would assume on a return. I mean, this could have been for LA Knight. This could have been for Bobby Lashley. This could have been for a million people that probably wouldn't have blown out their knee. But the old bosses / maybe current bosses' son comes skipping out there like the old days, wrestling Miz just like it was WrestleMania 35 all over again, and there was a crash pad in New York City. But like 1 second into it, I'm just on my phone, not giving a fuck that Shane and the Miz are wrestling in street clothes. Shane just is on the ground. He blew out his knee. They don't know what to do, and here comes Snoop, the perfect entertainer, dropping an elbow drop, pinning the Miz, getting his WrestleMania moment. WWE Hall of Famer Snoop Dogg getting his WrestleMania moment. So there was, I think, 5, 6 maybe WWE Hall of Famers on this WrestleMania card, which is, I think, the most of all time, because Snoop Dogg here delivered this elbow drop. Snoop Dogg, of course, jumping from AEW to WWE on this WrestleMania. The 14th best match, aka the match that let the women's tag showcase off the hook. Miz versus Pat McAfee. So much like Shane coming out at night 2, McAfee came out night 1. So this was a little better because McAfee is, I think, more over than Shane McMahon, and it's not as redundant because you did it on night 1. We didn't know what was going to happen, that it was going to pretty much happen again on night 2. Snoop and Miz in the ring. Miz saying that he can, he issues an open challenge. Pat McAfee comes out, accepts the open challenge. Miz irate here. This was pretty funny. Miz goes to the floor, and George Kimmel of the 49ers clotheslines Miz. After being pushed by the Miz, McAfee hits a senton off the top rope. He looks like he ate a load of shit here, but then he pops up, celebrates with Kimmel. Back in the ring, 1, 2, 3. Fun WrestleMania moment here, I guess, turned into a match. Wasn't too long. So, it's not in last place. Number 13, I guess, of the marketed matches, the Women's Tag Showcase. These teams all felt makeshift. Building to Ronda wrestling was kind of interesting. Chelsea diving to avoid Raquel Rodriguez was cool. Liv getting a power bomb by Raquel was cool. Double sharpshooter, not bad. Fun little spots here, but this felt like something that I would skip on an episode of SmackDown, or maybe go to the bathroom at a house show, honestly. And this was in WrestleMania. Shayna, her boot came off for some reason at one point. Ronda tapped Shotzi Blackheart out, and then there you go. Ronda Rousey made it on the card. I think she's got heat backstage or something. Maybe she's just not as big of a star as she thinks she is, or maybe she's not as big of a star as they thought she was. I mean, you got to go all the way back to WrestleMania 31 with her, Triple H, Stephanie, and The Rock. They had a schmoz at WrestleMania, and the crowd blew up. And then you go to WrestleMania 34, her first match with Kurt Angle versus Hunter and Stephanie. And that was, I think that I was there that evening. That was my favorite match of the evening. And, WrestleMania 35, she's in the main event. But then you have Becky. She blew up. And I think she kind of took the brass ring from Ronda. I think they were trying to hand it to Ronda. Ronda didn't know what she was doing. She fumbled the brass ring, and right as it was hitting the ground, Becky grabbed it, became the man, became big-time Bex. And I think there's not room at the top for Ronda Rousey, and I think she's getting a little upset by that. She's getting better, but I don't have the patience as a wrestling fan. I don't think she has the patience as a wrestler to get good enough for us to forget that she really wasn't that good and that she shit on the industry throughout the whole time of her not being that good. But number 12, speaking of Becky Lynch, the 6-lady tag, Damage Control versus Trish, Lita, and Becky, brawling before the bell. Lita in trouble, hot tag on Trish. That's what everyone was talking about. I get on my Instagram, get in my group chat. Everyone's talking about Trish's boobs. My girlfriend's like, who's Tits McGee? Get on Twitter. Everyone's saying that Trish is going to bring titties back. So I had to bring it up in the review, I think. It was the most noteworthy thing of the entrance. Lita and Becky head scissors from Trish to Dakota, like an assisted head scissors. That was a fun little spot. Stratisfaction, Bailey to belly, Io with a moonsault. This crowd was kind of shot. It seems like they weren't really into this match, and it did go a little too long in my opinion. That's why it's at number 12. Manhandle slam, 1, 2, 3. Trish, Lita, and Becky stand tall at WrestleMania. Number 11, Brock versus Omos. The Brock pop is real. Speaking of my girlfriend, she was excited for this match. She saw the Omos hype video at night 1, and she sat down for this match on night 2, and then she kind of rolled her eyes and got away. So the casual fan, the perimeter of the casual fan, someone who just happens to be dating and living with someone who is a wrestling fan, is interested in this match. The Brock pop is real, just like I said before. Shoulder tackle to no effects on Omos scoop slams again and again. Bear hug, 1, 2. Brock kicks out. Suplex City. Can't hit the F5 at first, but then he does. 1, 2, 3. Two big guys. Short match. Wasn't bad. Didn't feel like it dragged on and wasn't bored. So it's at number 11, but it doesn't get into the top 10. What does make it to the top 10? Cena versus Austin Theory. Make-A-Wish entrance was cool. Undertaker has the Druid. Cena has the Children. Theory hitting a Rolling Thunder standing blockbuster. I love that move. I think Theory has underrated offensive maneuvers. I saw Theory wrestle in the Indies. Saw him wrestle, I think it was called, for FIP. And I think that his time in the Indies, his time kind of training and being around AR Fox really helped out a lot. Crowd comes alive as Cena locks in the STF. Theory biting free. Can't hit the AA. DDT 1, 2. Cena kicks out, but Theory's in control. Cena heats up. Shoulder tackle. Not once, but twice. And then he thanks the fans and hits a 5-knuckle shuffle. Tries for the AA again. Ref down. STF. Theory taps, but there's no ref. Low blow from Theory. A-Town down. 1, 2, 3. This might be John Cena's last WrestleMania, so you got to soak it in, just like I think he was soaking it in, but maybe a little too much because Austin Theory did get the victory. This is a bit of a passing of the torch moment, I'd say. Cena's first WrestleMania, he won the U.S. Championship, and then, he won it again at WrestleMania 31, and then here he is losing to Theory, who is the current United States champion. This is a passing of the torch moment, or that's how it was designed to be. We'll have to obviously follow Austin Theory's career to see what actually happens, but you never know. I think lose the beard, Theory. That's all I'm saying. Number 9, Edge versus Finn Balor, the Demon. Hell in a Cell. Russell Crowe saying some crazy shit to kick off the match. Wild mirror mask, looking like Kanye West a little bit. I know Kanye West kind of wore a mirror mask, if I'm not mistaken, for a while. During Edge's entrance, Demon Finn doesn't do it for me. The paint is cool, but the mannerisms are just lame as hell to me. That they take me out of the match. They take me out of the character. And that's why, I guess, the mannerisms are lame as hell. And that's why I was brought into Hell in the Cell. Kind of, getting the plunder early, gathering things. There were good parts of this match, but there were corny parts of the match. The weapons being themed, colored with Finn's gear was kind of lame. Edge throws a ladder at Finn and just busts him open. This was kind of the story of the match. They didn't want to show it, but he must have been bleeding all over the place. You could see it on the mat. You could see it in his hair during the entire match. And the camera, of course, they did wide shots of the cell. They showed Edge. So it must have looked pretty bad. Execution off the ladder. 1-2. The Demon kicks out. I did like the little platform that the Demon stood on to do the coup de grace at one point. It was like halfway up the cell. There's just a little platform. It took me back to ROH Scramble Cage days with Jack Evans and Teddy Hart, how there were platforms in the corners of the ring, in the corners of the cage. It was kind of like that. But it was in Hell in the Cell, of course. Really cool addition to the Cell. And the Cell is like 26 years old now. I think 97 was the first Cell match. So they need to do little things to it that I think, bring it up to modern day. And a little platform like that, as, simple as that is, I think added, that was my favorite part of the match, is seeing that little platform. But he misses the coup de grace off the top. Spear. Concerto, 1, 2, 3. Edge wins. He gets his revenge at WrestleMania. It was a spectacle. It was newsworthy. So it gets in the top 10, but it wasn't my favorite match at WrestleMania, and that's why the controversial number 8 men's tag showcase was better than it, in my opinion. Street Profits versus Braun and Ricochet versus Viking Raiders versus Alpha Academy. Chad Gable with the German to Braun, 1-2. He doesn't get it done, but what an amazing feat of strength. Eyeball from the Viking Rangers with a moonsault. Braun with a crossbody, 1-2. Everybody breaks that up. Dawkins stops Braun's crazy train. Titus O'Neil, favorite spot of the match, you could tell. Back in the ring, Ricochet goes for a shooting star. Dawkins gets his knees up and then holds him, while Montez hits the frog splash, rolls him up, small package, 1, 2, 3. The Street Profits get the win at WrestleMania. Will this get them a tag title shot in the future? Who knows? We'll have to find out and see. But number 7, Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. I said that this was going to be the Steamboat Savage of WrestleMania, and it wasn't. It was a good match. Logan Paul coming in on a zip line like HBK. A YouTube dream come true. Orchestra conductor bringing out Rollins, wearing the most ridiculous outfit this side of the Fifth Element wardrobe collection. Logan drops Rollins with the right. Rollins gets room, dives, and stomps the hand of Logan Paul on the steps here. I guess, trying to, break the hand of Logan Paul so he can't hit those rights that he was knocking him out with. I like that little touch. That doesn't stop him from throwing a right hand, though. Connects, 1-2. Rollins kicks out. Sit down powerbomb by Rollins, 1-2. Logan kicks out. And then during Logan Paul's entrance, there was a guy, like a Prime mascot. Prime is the drink that Logan Paul made. I think it's kind of like a Gatorade ripoff to me. I've never tried it. I'm interested in trying it now, to be honest. I mean, I think Blue Powerade is better than Blue Gatorade, but where does Blue Prime get on that list? I don't, is it like a Sobe Life What? I don't know what Prime even looks like, the texture of it. The label completely is wrapped around the whole thing, but I think it's like a sports drink, kind of like a Powerade and a Gatorade. But Logan Paul owns this brand with KSI, a guy who, is kind of does the Logan Jake Paul thing in the UK. He's a YouTuber. I know he likes FIFA a lot. I know he's rapped. He's boxed. I kind of just know him from the outside looking in. I'm not really a fan of him. But going back to WrestleMania, KSI was in the Prime suit. Seth pulls KSI on the announcer's table as Logan Paul is jumping and hitting the frog splash, taking out KSI, taking out the Prime guy. Pedigree, 1-2. Paul kicks out. Paul hits the GTS. I wonder how CM Punk feels about that. Frog Splash 1, 2. Seth not staying down. Springboard forearm countered with a super kick. Curb stomp 1, 2, 3. Seth gets the victory. I don't know what's going to happen with Logan Paul's contract. I know he was signed to a 3-match deal, and he did Roman, he did the Rumble, and then here he did the Seth Rollins match at WrestleMania. He was great last year's WrestleMania, wrestling Dominic Ray with Miz. He was good on SummerSlam. So he's had 5 matches in his career. Is this going to be a bow on it? Is this going to be him done with wrestling? I don't know. I can see him coming back because he does, for as big as Logan Paul is, wrestling is probably the biggest platform he has to what I would consider like an older group of people. Like people that are in their 80s watch wrestling. People in their 80s probably don't know who Logan Paul is. So as big of a star as he is on YouTube, he's being on wrestling gets him into that wider, broader demographic. And if he's selling drinks, everybody's thirsty, so he's going to need to sell these fucking drinks somehow. So I feel like Logan Paul needs the WWE. WWE kind of needs the Logan Paul on the opposite spectrum. He's the man on YouTube. He's bringing in, guys like John Cena, guys like Roman Reigns, big stars onto his platform. So Gen Z, and even, I don't even know what they would be called, but people even younger than Gen Z are watching that shit. So it seems like a symbiotic relationship. I think the contract is done, but I think that this isn't the last of seeing Logan Paul, and it damn sure ain't the last of seeing Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. He's only really had one big WrestleMania main event his whole career, and that's when he cashed it in at WrestleMania 31. So I think the story here is, will Seth get a WrestleMania main event, a proper WrestleMania main event ever? Because this is his 11th WrestleMania. I think that they came out of WrestleMania 28 when he was in the Shield. So this is his 11th WrestleMania, and the only time that he had a big main event moment was when he made it himself. Will he get a proper marketed WrestleMania main event ever? His wife has. Other Shield members have. But will he? I don't know. Number 6, Asuka versus Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair coming out with the kids as well. Dancing. This was a like kind of like a boys and girls club kind of thing. I don't know the official organization that these little girls were a part of, but it was cute. I'll say that. Asuka locking in a triangle early, goes to the floor. She locks in another submission on the floor. Bianca hits a deadlift powerbomb. Asuka with an ankle lock. Both battle to the apron. Deadlift superplex by Bianca back into the ring. 1-2. Asuka kicks out. Neither lady can keep the other lady down. Blockbuster standing moonsault by Bianca. 1-2. Asuka kicks out again. Asuka won't stay down. Asuka pulls the champ off the top rope by her hair to hit a code breaker. That was pretty cool. 1-2. Bianca kicks out. Bianca dodges the mist. I think there was a little bit of a fuck up here. Hits the KOD. 1, 2, 3. Champ retains. Bianca's a star. She, from 37, she beat Sasha 37. She beat Becky 38. She beat Asuka 39. You really only have like Charlotte or Ronda or a name from the past to put her with now. But it doesn't feel like she is that star. I think she's kind of hits this ceiling. And they need to really focus on her this year to have her break through that ceiling and have her, sit with Trish, sit with Becky Lynch, sit with, John Cena, these legends, because they're giving her the pedigree, but I just feel like the week-to-week booking is kind of shooting her in the foot right here because, she's big name, has physical attributes like beauty and strength that you look for in a pro wrestler. She's over, but they just need to do something week to week that get her over. Keep her away from Alexa Bliss and all that bullshit magic mystic stuff, and feed her some competitors. Pretty much every woman that was in the tag team showcase needs to be taking L's to Bianca Belair all the way to next year's WrestleMania. And as good as she is, she didn't crack the top 5 in my rankings of best matches from WrestleMania from worst to first. Number 5, though, Rey versus Dom. Dominic with the police entrance. That was super sick. Handcuffed with the Rey Mysterio mask. I mean, that was the biggest WrestleMania entrance in night 1. I say that, but then in the very same match, Rey coming out with Snoop Dogg on a lowrider in California. I mean, that's got to be, for someone, from the 619, that's got to be huge. Rey spanking his son as thousands cheer. Dom throws water in his sister's face, and Rey runs up. Dom takes the advantage from all those shenanigans. Rey gets the upper hand after Dom gets bitch slapped by his own mother as millions watch at home. Priest and Finn show up. 619 by Rey. Priest and Finn get involved. El Fantasma and the rest of the LWO, the Latino World Order, the newly formed Latino World Order, show up. 619 from Dom. Frog Splash. 1-2. Rey kicks out. Dom gets like a chain. Bad Bunny, who's on the Spanish commentary, he's seen enough. He's not going to let it go down that way. He gets the chain from Dominic. 619 by Rey. Frog Splash by Rey. 1-2-3. Rey Mysterio wins in a nearly perfect, like, Mexican soap opera of a WrestleMania spectacle. Rey got in the Hall of Fame this year. I think the only thing left is for Rey to put over his son, and then he could be in his Cena years of WrestleMania. He can come out and help put over the new U.S. champion and kind of work his way down the card while he's still getting that WrestleMania paycheck. A lot of people aren't really happy that guys like Cena and Rey are kind of moving down the card a little bit, but I'm happy with that because I watch, a lot of Japanese wrestling, and that's what they do. You have legends from like literally the 70s and 80s opening the show because people who've been fans for a long time want to see them, but it kind of it's kind of disheartening for a lot of the fans week to week who are constantly and consistently seeing these people from 20 years ago beat their current favorites, like we kind of see with these Raw retro shows. So I think it's good to move them down the card. I think it's good that Rey won, but I think SummerSlam or even Backlash, Dom needs to get his win back in underhanded fashion somehow. And I think, Finn needs to get his win back. These Judgment Day members need to start getting their win back in 2023. Number 4, the Intercontinental title match, Drew versus Sheamus versus Gunther. People said this was the best match of WrestleMania, but it's top 4. I would say that these top 4 matches are interchangeable for me. If you said that one of these were your favorite match at WrestleMania, I wouldn't bat an eye. I wouldn't really argue with you. Sheamus' chest is red within like 30 seconds. Gunther and Drew strike battle, echoing blows throughout the arena. Drew and Sheamus both land clobbering blows to Gunther. 29 beats of the damn bow drum in this match. Power bomb by Gunther. 1-2. No. Gunther goes up top and gets cut off by Sheamus. White noise off the top. Celtic cross. 1-2. Gunther kicks out. Crowd believes in Sheamus here. Bro kick. 1-2. Drew pulls Sheamus out of the ring. McIntyre dives. Sheamus hits a bro kick to Drew, back in the ring. 1-2. Drew kicks out. Claymore kick. Bro kick. Both men down. 1-2. Gunther with the crossbody off the top rope to break up Sheamus's pin. Power bombs Sheamus on Drew. Power bombs Drew into the fucking mat. 1-2-3. Gunther retains the title here. Great match. I feel like the crowd wanted Sheamus, and that was kind of maybe the theme of night 2. Is night 1, the crowd got those feel good moments. The young upstarts definitely beat the status quo in night 1, but no, night 2 is definitely solidifying a little bit more of that status quo. I mean, you had Brock to a way lesser extent. You had Ronda win to a way lesser extent, but here you had Gunther. I feel like the champion they wanted, the WWE wanted, but I feel like SoFi that night wanted Sheamus to get this victory here. Number 3, Rhea versus Charlotte. The best match. I put the best match at WrestleMania 39, but then throughout the day I had to think about it a little bit, and they moved to number 3 here. But like I said, these top 4 matches interchangeable. The best match at WrestleMania 36. Crowd woos along with Charlotte's chops. Riptide countered into a DDT. 1-2. Rhea kicks out. Strike battle. Charlotte throws her just out over by the wayside, I guess. Both women down. Vintage Charlotte kip up here. Huge German off the second. Charlotte just falling right on her face. Rhea getting frustrated. Moonsault from Charlotte off the top to the floor, but she can't lock in the figure eight. Headbutt by Rhea. Riptide 1-2. Rhea in shock as Charlotte kicks out. Inverted cloverleaf locked in from Rhea. Spear 1-2. No. Strike battle with 80,000 people in the palm of their fucking hands. This felt like WrestleMania for the first time, I would say, in night one. Figure four. Rhea gets to the ropes. They battle up top. Riptide off the top. 1, 2, 3. New champ. So WrestleMania 36. Charlotte wins. WrestleMania 39. Rhea wins. Run it back next year, guys. You got the 14-time champion versus the first-time champion. This is great here. I think Rhea was so over here because they kept her away from the women's division. You saw how shitty the women's division is in the women's tag showcase. I shouldn't say shitty. I should say a lack of depth. They really don't focus on the women as much as they should. Even Bianca Belair, with her WrestleMania pedigree that she has now, doesn't really feel as over. But Rhea, who's been wrestling with the dudes for a year, comes in and wrestles a legend like Charlotte, and she's super over. So I feel like having her with the dudes is what got her to the point where she had that big WrestleMania moment. And, I mean, you got to give it to NXT. Because 2017, 2018, 2019, Rhea and Bianca were budding stars in NXT. And now here they are, 3 years later from when they came up to the main roster, doing pretty well for themselves, having the WrestleMania moments. I mean, you kind of forget how far some people have come. You got to look back at nights like this at WrestleMania when they're hoisting those titles, and it's like, damn. We'll get into talks like that in a little bit later, because number 2, the second best match at WrestleMania this year. The controversial, I'm going with Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. This was going to be the best match, but the wrong guy won, goddammit. I'll say it right there. I think they're starting to get go-away heat on Roman Reigns, which is rough because for years he had go-away heat. People booed him when they were supposed to cheer him, and it wasn't until they were supposed to boo him that they started cheering him, and now he just wants people to acknowledge him. But I mean, if you go into 1,000 days with him as a champion, or you even go into WrestleMania next year with him losing the title, I think that's going to be rough. I think a lot of people are not wanting to watch week to week. They're starting to watch month to month like I do. They're starting just to watch the big shows because they know that the story is, will Roman lose the title? And that, it should be like, I don't know, I think they had a hot guy right here. I think they had Cody Rhodes, right guy, right time, right story to tell at WrestleMania. Crowd singing to Cody's entrance, pyro on fleek, as the millennials say. Brandy and his daughter in attendance. He gives his weight belt to -1, who also jumps from AEW to WWE at WrestleMania along with Snoop. -1 out there, Brody Lee Jr. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 piano players play Roman to the ring. Big fight feel as fuck here. Roman gets on the mic, acknowledge me. He's in control, slams Cody on the ramp. Cody slams Roman on the ramp. Solo gets involved with a chair shot to the ribs. Roman moves to the commentary table. Backdrop from Cody to Roman through the announcer table. Cody cutter in the ring. 1, 2. No. Dive from Cody. Solo whips Cody with his own damn weight belt. I guess he stole from -1. He might have gotten from an AEW crowd who threw it back. Ref hears the sound of the weight belt and then kicks Solo to the back. Crowd loves this spot. Roman fights over the weight belt. Ref doesn't let him have it. Cody hits the crossroads. 1, 2. Roman kicks out. Rock bottom from Roman. 1, 2. Cody kicks out. SoFi wants Cody to win. You can just tell. Superman punch. 1, 2. Cody kicks out again. Spear countered by a roll-up. That spot was pretty sick. Doesn't get the pinfall there. Figure 4, you gotta love the old school spot by two men born into the business on the biggest stage of them all. I was marking out over this shit. 1, 2. Cody kicks out of the spear attempt, or the spear that was hit. This is when Roman's getting frustrated. Locks in the guillotine choke. Cody might be out. Ref checks on him. He's still alive. Crowd pops huge as his fist is in the air. What a moment. What a shot. What a spectacle. He breaks free. Super kick. Roman ducks, ref down. Usos come in, super kick Cody, hit the 1D. Sami and Kevin Owens have seen enough. They come in to even the odds. They get the Usos out of there. They hit a stunner and a haluva kick to Roman. 1, 2, Roman kicks out. Strike battle as the crowd rises to their feet. Dodges a Superman punch to hit the bionic elbow. Crossroads not once but twice, but then Heyman gets on the apron, and then the very man that was kicked to the back earlier in the match shows up, hits the Samoan spike like his father has done before. Spear, 1, 2, 3, Roman retains. As you can tell, I love this match. It's just the wrong outcome, man. I mean, I know I'm supposed to not like that Roman won, but I think that the fall of the bloodline going into the year storyline of the second rise of the bloodline would be something to tell. I don't know if you're going to have a better moment of Roman dropping the title. I mean, they're starting to add up here. I mean, Drew in Wales. The crowd wanted Drew to win so bad. Sami in Montreal. The crowd wanted Sami to win so bad. Cody in SoFi. LA WrestleMania crowd wanted Cody to win so bad. When is it going to happen? When is it going to cross over? And then when it does cross over, when Roman does lose the title, are we going to look back in hindsight and said, this was not as big of a moment as those 3 moments that they passed up on? We won't know. Even though Sami didn't win in Montreal, I don't feel bad for him anymore because he had the best match at WrestleMania weekend along with his partner Kevin Owens versus the Usos, main eventing night 1. Like I said, Lil Uzi Vert performing the Usos to the ring. KO main eventing 2 WrestleManias in a row. Sami Zayn getting the biggest pop of the night coming out. And then you gotta love Corey Graves mentioning PWG, Michael Cole mentioning El Generico in the main event of WrestleMania. This is when it started hitting me. It's like I've been seeing Sami Zayn as El Generico, this goofball El Generico in high school. I was like showing people on YouTube, like, you know, why do you like wrestling? And I would show them the It's Still Real to Me Damn It guy, and I would show them an El Generico like compilation video. I just thought he was great. I thought Human Tornado was great. I know. And then you had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, or El Generico, make their way to Ring of Honor and have great tag matches with the Briscoes. Had the Wrestling Observer Feud of the Year in a crazy ladder match. Then they make it onto NXT together, have a crazy feud. Then John Cena issues the U.S. Open Challenge, and that's how Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens originally make it onto the main roster. It's just a crazy story that I've been a part of this whole time watching and loving and enjoying, and it kind of hit me all at once watching them come out to the ring and watching them just mention PWG and El Generico and things like that. It was just tripping me out, man. It was just tripping me out. As you can probably tell, I'm getting tripped out right now. Sami gets the hot tag to KO, huge senton to the Usos. Frog splash from the top to the floor. Frog splash in the ring, 1, 2. Sami kicks out. Kevin Owens splash, knees up from the Usos. The Usos follow up with a splash. Kevin Owens gets his knees up. I'm not sure what I even wrote down here. We're going to skip it on. Senton, this time connects. I guess, yeah, Senton, Usos get their knees up. I don't remember this shit. And that's when the Usos hit a splash. But then Kevin Owens goes back up for a Senton and connects this time. 1, 2, Usos kick out. Sami holds up the 1 while hitting the Uso with a splash. Huge Olay chance from SoFi. Action spills to the floor. Usos put Kevin Owens through a table. Start taking it to Sami here, but can't put him away. Haluva kick, stunner, 1, 2, no. Super kick city from the Usos. Fisherman suplex off the top. Zayn with the hot tag. Haluva kick, not once but twice. Stunner to Jimmy. Another stunner. 1, 2, 3. Zayn and Kevin Owens are the new tag team champions. So then the story was, is the bloodline going to fall? I thought that's what was going to happen. I thought going into Raw after WrestleMania, we were going to have Cody, Sammy, and Kevin Owens standing there with their new titles hold up in the air. Like, this is the new era. This is the new faces of the WWE. But I don't think so. I think when it comes down to it, people that are from other promotions can win the tag titles. They can win the Intercontinental titles. But it's going to be WWE guys that beat WWE guys in big matches. I mean, you can take it all the way back to Cody's father, Dusty. You can then bring it into, it took, they didn't really treat Goldberg like Goldberg when he was, came around. Sting lost to Hunter at WrestleMania 31. So they're going to put guys. Cody has that AEW stink on him. They're not going to put him over Roman. They will put Austin Theory over Cena because that's a WWE guy. They will let, guys from the indies like Kevin Owens and Sammy beat the Usos because that's just the tag titles. But, I mean, when it's all said and done, that's just what they're going to do. They've done it for years. They've done it my entire life. And anytime that I deviate from thinking that way, I get a little disappointed, but it's my own fault for getting disappointed because they've showed me no other action other than to put their own guys over. That's their MO. But of course, there's tons of wrestling over WrestleMania weekend. There literally was a wrestling show at the same time as Mania. They overthought that one, but congratulations to Hoodfoot for winning the ICW No Holds Barred Championship on that show. There's also Joey Janela Spring Break 7. I didn't talk about this one when it happened because it was literally in between Supercard of Honor and Stand and Deliver. So, late in the hours of Friday night, this show happened. Commander, who wrestled in an 8-person match, Commander, who wrestled at Supercard of Honor hours before, wrestled here in an 8-person scramble featuring Blake Christian, who also wrestled on Supercard of Honor. Billy Starks, 18-year-old world traveler in the world of pro wrestling, hasn't even graduated high school yet, was in this match. Alex Price, Tony Deppen, Shane Mercer, Jack Cartwheel, and Gringo Loco round out a very fun but very clusterfucky match, with Blake Christian getting the victory here. Motor City Machine Guns dropped the GCW tag titles to the East West Express, Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne, the kid who signed a deal with AEW, the son of famous wrestler and trainer Buddy Wayne. I think he's only like 18 as well on the card. Mike Bailey, who wrestled Tanahashi, wrestled Ibushi. Here is wrestling Vikingo. Vikingo had a banger. They had a banger of a match here. Vikingo has to be, I would say, the MVP of WrestleMania weekend this year. Go out of your way to check that match out. It was pretty good. It's going to be my top 5 probably of April. I did feel like the show kind of dragged a little bit here, though. Bussy versus Nick Gage and Maki Ito. Nick Gage matches at this point are kind of like Ultimate Warrior matches. The entrance is the coolest part and best part. Kind of makes it worth it to watch a Nick Gage match. Don't get me wrong, Ultimate Warrior isn't cutting anyone open with a pizza cutter, but you get my point. Maki Ito and Nick Gage get the win from the former tag champions there. And then Matt Cardona comes out with Steph De Lander, jumps Nick Gage and Maki Ito after the match with a Cody Rhodes bomber jacket, cuts a good promo as always, and then that leads in to the GCW champion Masha Slamovich. She's seen enough. The impromptu match there with Lander and Nick and Cardona brawl to the back, and Masha Slamovich gets the victory there. And then we get the reason I reviewed this match, this whole show, Kota Ibushi versus Joey Janela. This match was well paced, built nicely. Nasty side suplex bump from the top rope, kind of through a door. It was so nasty that it didn't go down the way it was supposed to go down. Joey Janela bleeding buckets, standing moonsault. Joey gets his knees up. Lariat from Joey. Package pile driver wasn't enough. 1-2. Kota Ibushi kicks out. Super kick from Janela. Still wasn't enough. Big knee. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Kota Ibushi beats Joey Janela at Joey Janela Spring Break 7. Kota Ibushi is back, baby. I don't know where he's going to be. I thought he was going to appear at the DDT show. I mean, that's the company he started with. Will he sign with AEW? Who knows? He's definitely, scorched earth in New Japan, the company that put him over more than any other company ever has, made him a household name, I would say. Where does he go from here? Where does he go? I mean, could it be WWE? I don't know. We'll have to see. Speaking of WWE Hall of Fame, I just want to talk about that a little bit. I mean, Stacy Keibler, still hot. I didn't know she was a Bret Hart mark. Andy Kaufman, so cool to see him. Perfected the art of celebrity in wrestling. I want to say it was before Mr. T. But don't hold me to that. Muta deserves it. Ric Flair drunk during the induction. I like to think that him and Muta were partying in the back together during this whole thing. Probably got drunk together and then out there just not really showing his ass, but showing everybody a good time. Tim White deserves it. Didn't know he was the ref for like every Godfather match. That was a fun little tidbit. Rey Mysterio, Conan with the speech of the night. I learned a little bit. I laughed a little bit. It was a perfect Hall of Fame pro wrestling speech by Conan. Loved Rey's speech as well. The Bejeweled Mask was awesome. Yeah, pro wrestling is just fucking cool, man. Seeing Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens lift those tag titles up in front of 80,000 people when they used to only wrestle in front of 400 people in that same city, and it just took me back for like 15 years plus of just watching this guy grow, and it was really cool to see. Cody should have won, damn it, but fly high. I'm out.